morning
to the goofball army out there. Hi at the families. Tell them to get to the next room. Tell them to go to your neighbors because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If this is your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob. And we see Jace hot in the chats already. Guys, I hope he made it through the storm just fine. Drew's down in Florida, didn't realize that, we got about 2 feet of snow.
Listen, we had plenty of ice too. It was in the drinks, but we had it.
Yeah.
Margaritas galore. So, but yeah, again, we hope everybody's safe there during all the lovely snow I heard you guys got there. What'd you guys get up over in your neck of the woods there? I heard it was supposed to be 8 inches to 12 inches.
Oh, we got quite a bit, and it was ice rain at the end of it. So you go out today, it's a giant skating rink, if you will, nice skating rink.
Ooh, and Deb says 28 to 20 inches here. Ooh, that is absolutely insane, guys. But listen, we got a lot to go over. We got the Giants making new hires left and right here. We got 2 new coordinators, which is the big one here. So listen, we wanted to talk the big one, obviously, be Dennard Wilson, the new defensive coordinator the Giants picked up, the same guy the Giants wanted 2 years ago, and he picked the Titans over us. So we thought,
the Titans.
Who better to bring on than Mike Patterson of touring the AFC South here to talk a little bit about a guy that he's spent the last couple of years watching close up and personal there. How's it going, Mike?
It's going great. How you all doing?
Good. I know. And I was talking to him yesterday. I couldn't believe even Nashville got hit with that snow there. So he's coming on with trying to get through his internet outages, power outages, and all. So appreciate it very much for coming on during all that fun. I know it's been an interesting last 24 hours there for you.
Definitely has been, and it continues to go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. Again, Dennard Wilson's a guy the Giants wanted to hire 2 years ago. He flat out chose the Titans over us. No hard feelings. Brought him on anyway at that point there. But let's be honest. I think we all wish we had him instead of Shane Bowen, who's also obviously a guy that Mike knows pretty well there as well. So it seems to be the thing. You have to let us know how the next defensive coordinator you have does, so we know when we get him how he's going to. It just seems to be the Titan defensive coordinators here. Oh God,
yeah.
But it's an exciting hire. It's a guy that again a lot of us wanted, and it's funny because I hear people now on Giants Twitter, which we all know is Twitter X, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's just kind of a cesspool of opinions. But people are always now are like, "Oh, I want Anthony Weaver. Oh, I wanted Jim Leonard," and people are just upset. And I was like, y'all would have been ecstatic to get this guy last year. Giants fans wanted this guy 2 years ago like you would not believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can break away from that part real quick. Jim Leonard's already announced he's going back to Denver. So anybody who's wondering what's going on there and why we didn't get him, he's going back to Denver. Why? I don't know. I'm not his agent. He wants to go back there. Anthony Weaver,
yes.
I don't know what's going on there. All I can tell you is this, guys. He flat out didn't get the job a couple of years ago. They gave it to Zach Orr instead. That tells you that maybe Harbaugh's not as high in him as some people thought he was. Now, he's also been interviewing for head coaching jobs. So, maybe there's, some rumors that he might get one there. So, who knows? There's a reason. But this was the guy that was in the top 3 of guys that we knew the Giants would look at. We knew one of the 3 was probably coming here. If we had to put him in ranking, he was probably 3rd favorite for the job. But that doesn't make him 3rd best for the job. This is a legitimate defensive coordinator. Mike, tell us what we're in store here for, man, because I'm excited by this.
Well, honestly, when it comes to Dennard Wilson, he kind of got the short end of the stick because his defensive backs were all injured this year. So when you see the numbers of how the Titans did against passing, and in terms of passing, defending the pass, it's probably not going to look great. But you also have to take context in that he's down to his fifth and sixth corners pretty much for majority of the season. Also, I would say he didn't really have edge pass rushers. His best pass rusher was Jeffrey Simmons, an interior defensive lineman who had 11 and a half sacks. That was his best pass rusher. So with that being said, he does have edge pass rushers. I mean, you've got Brian Burns, you've got Abdul Carter. I mean, you've got Dexter Lawrence in there. You've got people up front. So by far, you probably got more pieces up front than what you had in Tennessee. Maybe have a little bit more corner help potentially. But I would say that you're definitely getting a guy that can make things happen. He made things work at times with an undermanned Tennessee Titans defense. And he also is a guy that does not take excuses at all. He's like, hey, we got somebody injured. Oh, well, let's get in there. Let's get it done. Because he's a guy that definitely finds a way to get it done no matter who is on the field or what is happening, who gets injured. That's just who he is. That's in his DNA. And he wants guys to go out there and execute and do the things that need to get done. And he doesn't take excuses at all.
And I know, again, we talk about the injuries. We've been talking about that the last 24 hours, all the Giants fans, and you just mentioned first thing, and you're 100% right from everything I see as well there. So, guys, for those who aren't aware of what's going on with the Titans, let's be honest. It's a smaller fan base to begin with, but it's also a team that did not do very good last year, so didn't get a lot of national attention. L'Jarius Sneed, Kevin Winston Jr., Marcus Harris, Jalen Amore Davis, all were on IR from the corner position by the end of the season. Safeties Mike Brown, Xavier Woods, safeties all on the IR as well. You're talking, you're going to backups of backups. You had what's his name, Elam, that the Bills got away from, that went to the Cowboys, and he went away from the Cowboys in like November. Within 10 days, he's on the field for you all because that's how bad it was. This was a desperate times call for desperate measures kind of stuff. I'm curious your thoughts more on the 24 Titans. Not to give him a pass on 25. He wouldn't give himself a pass. I mean, it wasn't a great year for the defense, let's be honest. But 24 was a different beast unto itself. So they were second in the league with amount of yards given up for per game at 311.2. But 30th in points at 27.1, which those who watch the show know I always say I really, for the most part, could not care less about yards. I have no problem with Ben Bedell break. As long as you're not giving up points, that's what matters. But from everything I'm hearing from a lot of people that I talk to that watch a lot of Titans ball, they're telling me special teams put them in bad situations a lot. The offense put them in bad situations a lot. And it was more of a situation where they were bound to give up points just from the situation they were put in by those units there. If you care to give us a little background on that.
Well, you definitely had a few issues. More importantly, you had Will Levis turn the football over at inopportune times. So he was the quarterback last year, in case people have forgotten. He basically would turn the ball over. Of course, plenty of people remember the interception that he threw versus Chicago Bears, where he's like posing like this on his knees, because he can't believe he just threw an interception.
That's my
I was about to say his biggest thing was mayo in the coffee in the draft.
Mayo in the coffee.
But
of course,
I got a funny story about that, by the way.
Oh,
what do you
I'm
got?
just saying, I am a memester, and for the first 6 weeks of football, the Titans meme page had the faces of Will Levis, and it was just like every time I threw a pick.
Well, funny story about him is when he actually going back to 2023, before Brian Callahan got here, his first start happened versus the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course, people are buzzing about it, thinking, okay, we're going to see what he's got. People are taking pictures of him, video of him. We're covering the game, right? So people took pictures of him, did all those different things, posted them, posted videos, whatever. We go back to the media room, and, I just noticed, I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, why are the Mayo people that sponsor him retweeting or liking my tweets? I just didn't know what was going on. And I'm thinking I'm the only one. I looked around. I said, I don't know why. I said something about it. And crazy part was everybody in the media room that tweeted anything about Will Levis or a picture or video was getting either retweeted or liked by the same person, the same people.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. But yeah, getting back to Will Levis, and he definitely created a lot of things that put them in terrible situations. He special teams wasn't as good. Special teams this year was better. Just a lot of injuries, and then they also had injuries last year with the cornerback room too. They've had a lot of bad luck when it comes to injuries in the cornerback room the last couple of years, which has been rough on Dennard Wilson to be able to put together, all the things he wanted to put together. Also, combine that with kind of lacking at the defensive end or the edge position. Of course, he got Harold Landry last year, and this year he didn't have Harold Landry. He had the Arden Key. Was supposed to be Olawefemi Oladejo, but of course he got injured. He was a rookie. So you had like a rotation at that end spot. A guy like Jihad Ward, who I think the Titans should sign back, by the way, was actually pretty solid there. But you had a rotation of guys, and that's basically what it's been the last couple of years, pretty much when it comes to the defense. And Dennard Wilson has found a way to make it work or figure out things that have worked for this team over the season and over time. And it's been, a compliment to him that he's been able to get these things done despite all the circumstances up against him. So be honest, if you are a Giants fan, you look at what they have up front, you look at some of the linebackers, you look at maybe what they can bring in at the cornerback spot, things are looking up, I would say, with Dennard Wilson and what all the things that he can do as a defensive coordinator and just how imaginative he can be. Because last year he moved Jeffrey Simmons around some. Actually, he wasn't just at the defensive tackle or 5 technique in the 3-4. He actually lined up outside some and things like that too. So just imagine the things he can do with all those different pieces, like a Brian Burns, Abdul Carter. All those different pass rushers he's got. Wow. That's scary.
I love that you pointed that out, because I said for the next DC that comes in here, I want someone that's creative and makes up different plays, because look at Michael Parsons' style when it was the Cowboys. Yeah, he was supposed to set on the edge. He was supposed to set at this position, but you put him wherever you needed him to play. And if you could have Tibbs, Burns, and Abdul Carter on the field with sexy decks, like that pass rush should be very fierce.
And that's one thing I saw a lot watching tape of the Titans defense is they're not a heavy blitz team per se with Wilson, what I saw, but more of a, lack of a better term here, an oddball blitz team. Like they'd be blitzing from places you wouldn't expect the blitz to be coming from, whether it's the middle linebacker, the safety just pulling up right from the backfield and going head first right into the quarterback there. Like that's the kind of stuff they wanted to do. And it kind of kept you on your toes and made it where you didn't have to blitz that crazy, because they were afraid of where the blitz was coming for more than the blitz itself and worry about missing it, not getting the pickup and stuff like that. I thought that was a little interesting difference, because we're used to in New York, obviously, like Wink before Shane Bowen and Wink Martin throw everything.
Oh, I can tell you about like the good old Shane Bowen, but that's another show for another day.
Well, it's funny. Everybody I talked to you about Wilson, I talked about stuff going on with Shane Bowen. And they had the same thing that I said, is that he kept the goddamn corner so far off the receivers, they had no chance to compete. You can't put people 7 yards past there. And from everything I'm seeing with Wilson, he wants more like the tough corners. The guy's going to pop you right at the line. He wants a lot of press at that point there. He wants the physical guys.
I'll say this: he plays the sticks a little better than Shane Bowen did. Shane Bowen, the one thing about Shane Bowen that I always wondered when I was watching his defenses. Okay, it's 3rd and 7. Why are we lining up guys 10 yards off the guy? Why? You always wondered those different things. But I will tell you, the linebackers will have a little bit of fun playing under Dennard Wilson, because I'll give you an example. Dennard Wilson blitzed the nickelback. I think it was Kevin Winston Jr. was actually lined up in the slot. He's actually a safety, but he plays like slot corner as well. But they blitzed either it was Kevin Winston Jr. or Roger McCurry before he got traded. Either one of them. blitzed him off the corner. He said he took Cody Barton playing the middle linebacker, buzzed him out to the side where McCreary blitzed from. The quarterback never saw it. Cody Barton buzzed right up under it, picked it off. It was when they were kind of coming before halftime, ended up getting them an extra 3 points before halftime and got the ball after halftime. So it's those type of things. He'll definitely bring a slot blitz. He'll bring one of your linebackers as well. The biggest thing I look at as well, though, he does a lot of stunts. Like if he's got the pieces there, he's going to do a lot of stunts up front. Just a matter of if those people can get there or not. Because I saw one stunt where he had Jeffrey Simmons. He was lined up, basically to the left of the center, to the center's left. He loops all the way around, comes around the outside, and makes the play. It was insane. I did not expect that kind of stunt to happen, but it did.
Yeah, no, it's like I said,
and you all have those type of pieces to make those stunts happen. I think if Mr. Dexter Lawrence is watching tape on Jeffrey Simmons right now, I think he is salivating at being in this defense.
Yes. The one thing is going to be interesting to see what he has left, because I'm still thinking that Kayvon Thibodeau might not make it to the 26.
It's very possible he's not going to make it to the season.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me on that part there. Bobby Okereke, who's obviously our best middle linebacker, I think he very well could be gone as well for cap reasons. So we'll have to find out what he has, but he's used to working with a whole lot less than what we got. That's for sure.
We're going to put him under a lot of heat. I think New York Giant fans will still put him under a lot of heat because they expect a lot. But it also could be you could have Shane Bowen, which I told a New York Giants friend of mine when they got Shane Bowen. I was like, I just shook my head. I was like, hey man, you're gonna be really mad at him eventually. That's literally what I told him.
We're mad at everybody as Giants fans. Let's be honest. We were trash talking. I don't say me personally. To me, this man walks on water as far as I'm concerned. But even like fans were trying to get Eli out of here towards the end of his career, where the guy got 2 Super Bowls. He should be able to leave in his own damn terms. Tom Coughlin.
Funny note for that. Funny note for Eli Manning. I actually went to high school at some points in time with his wife, Abby.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
You didn't take her to prom or anything, did you? Because that would make the story that much better. Like,
what's that?
Or awkward.
You didn't take her to prom or anything, did you?
Oh no! I didn't take her to prom. No. But yeah, she's actually from the Nashville area.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure he's in Tennessee a lot and everything there. Because I know they got family out there.
Peyton's out east. Actually, his son goes to Baylor, which is in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay, I've been.
Yeah.
Nice aquarium there. And it's funny. That's the one thing I know about. I remember from going there years ago. Is the aquarium. It was a nice aquarium. But curious, and I know obviously, I don't want to put you in the spot too much here. I know you're maybe not as well versed in some of the players with the Giants there specifically, but how familiar are you with Deontay Banks? I'm kind of curious what your thoughts on him. So obviously, he was our first round pick out of Maryland a couple of years ago. Was a perfect fit for Wings defense. More of a press physical guy, but he could play zone as well. But definitely prefers to press. He's had all kinds of issues where malcontent probably is the best way to put him out there. Maturity issues, been taken out of the game, but he also got put in bad situations by the Giants. They made him a CB1 in year 2. He wasn't ready. And we had a gauntlet of receivers besides just what we have in the conference, which we have some very good receivers between AJ Brown and CD and Scary Terry and all. But
yeah, that year was
this year,
the NFC North.
Yeah,
JJ, he had Amon Brown. He also had
that was a bad year for
Christian Watts.
But now this year, he took even a step further back, and it just seems like a guy that's broken. Did you guys have anybody that's that kind of player, maybe that hasn't lived up to potential? Fan bases maybe given up on that maybe he worked with. Give us some ray of light if you can here, because quite frankly, there's not much to be positive on Deontay Banks except his kick returning. He's a good kick returner.
Yeah, currently.
Well, I can give you a ray of light. I believe I can't remember the guy's name, but he was drafted.
It's not going to be a big ray of light if you can't remember the guy's name.
I can't remember his name. I know it's tough, but he tried to work with him. The guy broke his back when he was in college. Had a back issue, basically, and he was still a first-round pick, which is insane to me. But anyway, worked with him. He got better. He just unfortunately. What's
It's
that?
like
I
Bane.
said I can't remember his name either, but I remember who you're talking about now too.
Yeah, he worked with him. Unfortunately, he didn't make the team, but he eventually caught on with another team. But he was a first round pick, and he definitely took time with him. The thing I notice when it comes to Dennard Wilson is, I mean,
We're talking
he's
about
going to
Harley.
want his guys to buy into what he wants to do. The biggest thing for Banks to do is if he's going to make it, he needs to buy into what is going to be done. If he does not buy in, if he doesn't give that buy-in and attention, you mentioned the immaturity, kind of malcontent type things. If he doesn't do that, it's going to be over before it begins. If he does, then he may create himself a chance. It's not going to be an immediate chance, in my opinion, but it's going to be a chance to make the roster and eventually, kind of, I guess, move himself up depending upon injuries, play, things like that. That's the way I would say things would work if he's able to make the team, or if he's able to kind of resuscitate his career.
Yeah, there's a couple of projects, so to speak, that he's going to have unfortunately with, and a lot of it in the secondary. And that's why I
Hmm.
kind of like the fact that he's a secondary guy. That's obviously where he got his background from. Obviously, he was
Hmm.
the secondary coach with Harbaugh 1 year in Baltimore, and obviously left a pretty good
Hmm.
impression. They wanted to bring him in as a DC now, but obviously
Yep.
with the Eagles as well. I mean, listen. I mean, Chauncey
Hmm.
Gardner Johnson led the league in interceptions with him. You had
Hmm.
guys like you know like James Bradbury
Hmm.
being like a Pro Bowler under him and stuff like that. And we saw, as Giants fans, we know him very well. So,
Right.
but he's had a lot of projects here. He's got Deontay Banks as a project, obviously, at that point. He's going to have Javon Holland, who has had a couple of back-to-back years of and we've seen in the past that he's been much better when he's Miami. We have also the reclamation project of Tyler Nubin, who we were excited about coming out of Minnesota. It looked like he was going to be a good player.
Hmm.
I'm kind of curious your thoughts on the safety position as a whole too, because Tyler Nubin again is a guy that we had huge expectations of. Second round pick, was considered the best safety in the draft, and he's kind of, I mean, he's a legit NFL player, but he hasn't lived up to the hype of what we expected.
Hmm.
From what I've seen of Wilson, it seems like he likes to do almost like a double high safety kind of look pretty often, which is interesting because Nubin just hasn't done anything pick wise his whole NFL career so far. So just kind of
Um,
curious your thoughts on the safety position and how he did it with the Titans there.
he did a few different things. He actually had a three safety look at one point,
Hmm.
with Winston, Woods, and God, no, I'm forgetting names. Amani Hooker. There we go. So he actually had a three safety look that he actually started the game with a few times until Woods and Winston started getting injuries. But what he does is he'll start off maybe looking at a kind of a too high look. He'll drop a guy down in the box. He'll have a guy sprint down there as well. Like Kevin Winston was really good at that. So he'll bring different looks. It's not necessarily going to be a typical too high. However, I will say if he does get caught in the too high, that one safety is going to have to be able to cover a slot guy or a tight end at that point, because I saw Monty Hooker get put in some tough positions this year in that aspect. So if your guy, if he's able to cover, I think he'll be okay. If not, he may be in some positions that may expose him, which not going to be good, because Dennard's going to put you in some positions to make plays. Also, it's going to be some difficult positions just based upon scheme and things like that. I mean, just to be honest, the Seattle Seahawks put the safeties for the Titans in some pretty terrible situations with JSN getting matched up against their safeties. So I don't think that situation is going to happen a ton with the Giant safeties, but that's some of the things you look at. They got to be versatile, be able to fly down the box, and all those different things as well.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
one guy I think especially he's gonna love as far as a fly down to the box kind of guy is Drew Phillips, our nickelback or slot corner there, the kid out of Kentucky a couple of years ago. And it's weird
Mhm.
because he plays like a small linebacker more than he plays like a corner. Like
Really
this kid
does.
comes down, he hits, he has no problem blitzing, he hits the running back like he's a linebacker, doesn't care about his body. Uh, some coverage issues definitely is an issue at times. He got benched even one point last year because of
Mhm.
coverage issues. But I think he's a guy he's gonna love working with. This is like 100% from everything I've seen on his defense philosophies. I think he's gonna love working with them. Like I said, head down, just bull rush into the running back kind of corner, which is so rare from the corner position. I feel like nowadays, like
He
maybe it's
sounds
a
like
get off
Roger
my
McCreary.
lawn moment, but I feel like
That's what
corners don't come down and hit like they used to. You know what I mean?
he sounds like Roger McCreary, because Roger McCreary was a guy that's wasn't necessarily the greatest cover guy, but he was a physical guy, come up and tackle you and things like that. That's exactly what he sounds like. And Roger McCreary, eventually, he actually got better going into this year in coverage as well. Before, of course, he got traded to the Rams. But definitely was a guy that wasn't necessarily known for his coverage skills, but known for being a physical corner, especially in the slot. And that's basically, I think, where you're going with the guy you just mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? From what I've seen of him, you're spot on with that. There, I would say Curry may be a little better in coverage so far, though. That's for sure. Which is a little scary to say that, because I know he hasn't been the best cover guy, but like I said, Phillips definitely had those issues. Now, guys, we talked earlier about issues with the Titans and how they did on defense. Again, all the injuries, but we always give you guys the stats. Rob will tell you all the time, I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers. Can't help it. I like doing the math. Here's where the Titans were this past year. You got 28.1 points per game given up as 28th in the league, 345.1 yards per game as 21st, 39.71 third down percentage. That's 16th, so at least something average. Sad when 16th is considered the great stat. Red zone TD percentage of 65.52 is 29th. Takeaways, only 0.8 takeaways a game, which is 28th. Again, I think that speaks volumes to the issues in the secondary. I know from everything I've seen with Wilson, with his time, not just with the Titans, but with the Ravens, with the Eagles, even going back to his days with the Jets, even he's very much a guy that likes to have his corners be aggressive and try to make the plays. And when you're dealing with third string corners, it's kind of hard to expect them to make plays, and that's basically what you guys were unfortunately dealing with all year long. You can definitely see with the passing defense everything we're talking about with those injuries. 68.87 completion percentage, 31st in the league. 230.5 yards passing given up per game, 23rd. Interceptions on just 1.17% of pass attempts, that's 29th. Sacks, though, and this is an interesting one here. 7.55% of passing plays ended in a sack. That's 9th best in the NFL. And you were talking about it, like they didn't have edge rushers. And yeah, I noticed the same thing. Like the edge rusher, and not a single guy in the room, and I'm like, oh, I remember him, or oh, this guy was really good. This guy did that.
You have two guys. The one guy that actually was solid the entire season. Well, you had two guys. You had one guy that got traded to the Ravens, and then you had another guy, Jihad Ward. And the crazy part is Jihad Ward wasn't the guy that they were expecting to do as much as he did. And the guy that got traded to the Ravens, honestly, they signed him to a 1-year deal, and just a 1-year whatever deal.
Yeah.
So
Draymond Jones, you're talking about, yeah.
Draymond Jones, yeah. Sorry, I'm blanking on names tonight for some reason.
I got
gracious.
you. So, and that's actually ironically enough, as you mentioned him specifically, he's a guy that we talked about as a potential guy for the Giants to sign. We're going to need some backup, edge room kind of guys, especially if we do get rid of Kayvon. And obviously he's got the experience with Wilson. He's got the experience with Harbaugh. Like it with the Wilson hire, I think it's more and more a guy that the Giants will go after for some linebacker edge depth, kind of thing in there, because that's definitely a need this offseason there. So running wise, here's an interesting part, because we got Shane Bowen. The whole thing was, and the bad part for the Giants was everything with Shane Bowen in Hard Knocks was, oh, he can stop the run. He can stop the run. He's great at stopping the run. This guy's a run stopper. That's what we kept seeing on Hard Knocks when they hired him. And it's bad for the Giants because that was out there. It's public. We all have that in our brain, just like burnt in. And the Giants' pass rush was absolutely goddamn horrendous. I mean, there was games we literally had players sitting out because they're like, okay, I'm done. Put the backups in. And then the backups would go in and rush for 100 yards against us. Like, that's how bad. Seriously, that was. I was the game I'm thinking specifically it's the second Eagles game. Saquon at over 100 yards. He sits down. Then Tank Bigsby comes in and gets over 100 yards against us.
Yikes!
Yeah, that's how bad the pass rush was with Shane Bowen there. But the run defense actually wasn't bad considering everything else you guys were dealing with on the injury front, on the lack of talent front as well. 4.3 yards per carry, which was 17th in the league. 114.6 yards given up rushing. That's I'm sorry, 4.3 yards per game was for yards per carry was 17th in the league. 114.6 yards per game overall. It's 14th. So again, average. You're basing an average run stopping defense. And considering how bad you guys were against the pass, I think that actually is kind of crazy, because you would think guys would pass.
It's the effect of Jeffrey Simmons being there. That's what the effect of that is. Because I mean, Jeffrey Simmons ate up blocks, and basically split double teams, things like that. I'm not saying that Dexter Lawrence can be that type of guy, because, be honest, Jeffrey Simmons came in the shape of his life this past season. I mean, I've never seen a 300-pound guy that didn't have a gut. That was Jeffrey Simmons this year.
Yeah.
So, big boy.
Yeah. It was insane. I mean, when you see him, it looks like it's physically not possible, but it is. You're looking dead at him and like, okay, is that really possible? A 300-pound guy with no gut? But yeah, a 300-pound guy with no gut.
See, Dexter Lawrence's problem was that he had too much of a gut, that's for sure, this year. I mean, people are very upset overall on how he was in as far as shape-wise. He's definitely a guy that you saw come in kind of, I don't want to say out of shape this year, but that was kind of the thing people said. But he's always been a bigger guy. So it's like, I don't know how much I want to throw on that and how much was the injury he dealt with in the offseason. So, but the thing about Dexter Lawrence is he just has no right being as fast and, have the agility he does at his shape.
Athlete.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Also, I saw Jay asking about your content, Mike. So we're going to put the link out in the chat, by the way, for his stuff there. Anybody who's interested in learning more about the AFC South there as well, because good stuff there, definitely, for sure.
I just had a show today, actually, with the Fumbles, Samaria Terry. We were talking about Mike Vrabel a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had to finally tell Titans fans what it was and what it ain't today, because I just it's frustrating, because people keep telling me, well, why did they fire Vrabel? Why did they fire Vrabel? I'm like, okay, did you not look at his last 35 games? He was 13-21.
Yeah.
2 years of
I would have kept
35 games.
So, but
plus, I mean, and then just to throw something at you, just want to ask you this question. Okay, you're 13-21 last 2 years. You walk into your boss's office and you want more power.
Yes.
How does that work out for you?
Oh, you also got to put the other part of it ahead of it, though, and say, what did he come in blaming? Did he blame the GM's players, basically, then, in that case? I'm just curious how it went. Like, was he coming in like, I'm the greatest ever, I need all the power? Did he come in saying, hey, listen, the GM's been a problem, I'm not getting the players I need? And I think it's all in the delivery, to be honest. And only because
100%.
of the years he had before that. If it wasn't for that, and he just came in like that for 2 years, said, I've been here for 2 years, and we've sucked both of them. This has to go.
I understand. I'm just saying, if we were going to our jobs, our regular day jobs, walked in the office after 2 disappointing years of production and said, hey, I think I need to be put in control of more stuff. I think if I do it, it'll be better. I think they're going to be getting ready to hand me the pink slip if that happens.
I hear you. But Drew and I are both on sales, so it's how you pitch it.
Exactly.
Because if you go in there and say, I haven't had the tools for what I need to succeed, I think I need this to make this team that much better. Sounds way better than, give me the keys to the palace because I'm going to run shit here.
While I hear you, I think you still have a tough case either way it goes.
Yeah. Well, you're also talking to someone that's also very biased, because when Vrabel was out on the blocks, I said we should get rid of Daboll last year and bring him over here. So I'm a little biased in my opinion. I'm just going to put that out there 100%.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, honestly, it just didn't work for him. So it is what it is.
Were you ever in a band by any chance? Because the guys in the chat are all saying the singer from Seven Dust.
What?
You ever heard of Seven Dust?
Yeah, I've heard of Seven Dust.
Okay, they're all getting the chat saying they look like the guy from Seven Dust.
That's funny. That's funny. I haven't heard that one before.
You can't be in denial about it because that actually is a Seven Dust song. Therefore, that'll just fuel the flames with that. So.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! For some reason on this show, we often get into divorced dad rock talk, which is just fun as well because I love the fact that it's called divorced dad rock.
I think I'm gonna go look that up now. Seven Dust. Okay,
I had to look it up. I here I can
I can see it. Let's put that there. I'm like, come on, guys.
I think it's mostly the hair.
Oh my goodness!
I'm trying to think where he's from. He's from L.A., isn't he? He's not in Tennessee.
I hate to say it, but I kind of assume that all people that are in music are pretty much L.A., except for country singers, obviously, or from your neck of the woods, Mike.
No, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Ain't all country singers from here. Don't do that. Oh my goodness!
He's from Atlanta.
There he is.
From Atlanta.
There he is. That's the singer from Seven Dust.
I
can't do the side by side. I
mean, only thing I see is the hair. That's the only thing I really see.
I told you, I think it's the hair. Yeah. I think it's the hair.
Yeah, that's all I see.
It's all right. As long as no one dances on the show, the fans will be happy. They hate dancing. Especially mine for some reason. It's very nice. But anyway.
Pretty sure an inch work had better moves than you did.
Listen, I admit freely I have no moves whatsoever. I don't
Oh my goodness.
So, except when I'm drunk, then I forget. But so anyway, on the history on Wilson there, again, we always give you guys the history of everything there on where they've been beforehand. Again, 2 years, obviously, with the Titans last 2 years, the defensive coordinator there. Before that, again, defensive backs coach with John Harbaugh with the Ravens. Before that is when he was with the Eagles for 1 year as a passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach. And then also the year before that, just a defensive backs coach there with the Eagles. The Jets, we kind of didn't talk too much on this Jets stuff there. So the Jets from 17 to 20 started as their defensive backs coach in the last couple of years, was also their passing game coordinator. He was there during the reign, so to speak, of Jamal Adams when he was big with the Jets there. And I do hear a lot of things on him and his influence and what kind of made Jamal Adams. And he's
that's the only reason to me. I think that's the reason Jamal Adams even signed in Tennessee at some point was because of Dennard Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. Again, a guy who likes aggressive guys playing the secondary. That's aggressive as you get. That guy we talk about. Drew Phillips being a linebacker in a corner's body. Jamal Adams was literally a linebacker that they just kind of forced to play safety because he wasn't big enough to play the position. And you saw him actually try to play it later on. Whereas I don't know if he's still in the league. I know he was trying. I think last year
he played for the Raiders last year, playing linebacker.
Yeah,
and the thing I think it's crazy about him is he was actually not as bad in coverage when he first started in the NFL, and then all of a sudden it just went all downhill.
Oh my God! I see the chat. I'm talking about my dancing. Jay says, "Hate your dancing." Anthony says, "So does drinking explain that horrible attempt?"
Jay's coming after.
It's again. I say freely, I can't dance. It is what it is. So. Before that, also, he spent time with the Rams from 2012 to 2016, was their defensive backs coach there, along with a defensive quality control coach. Interestingly enough, before he went to the Rams, he spent a few years as a scout for the Chicago Bears. And I thought that's interesting. When you want to get feedback on draft time and something like one of your coordinators, here's a guy who literally scouted for a living for years. It wasn't like he did it 1 year and that was it. Like, no. 2008 to 2011, guys. So you're talking that's 4 years as a scout. I can't.
Those guys never stay home.
I can't remember never having a coach that did that though.
Yeah. There's plenty of coaches that have started at that level. There's also plenty
I don't see ever. Like I'll see a year or two maybe as an area scout or something like that. But to be a pro scout for 4 years.
Well, another guy that started out that way, but I will say he wasn't a coach. But he ended up being a GM of a team. That was Rand Carthen. He actually started out as a scout.
You do see that with the scouts. Joe Shane started out as a guy selling tickets in the ticket booth. They always love talking about that for the Panthers.
Wow.
So, obviously it probably was a college intern and all because it's not on the Wikipedia page, obviously. Maybe he was handing out peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was eating one as he's doing
it. So before that, he was in Maryland for a couple of years as a graduate assistant. Started off in high school, like most people do, with coaching there, was at DeMatha High School in Maryland as a
that is a really big high school.
Is that a big high school?
That is a very famously known high school in Maryland.
Hopefully I pronounced it the right thing, because I never heard of it.
That's DeMatha. It's DeMatha.
I don't pretend to be the guy who knows all about high school football.
No, I just know about that one because I remember hearing about it so much. DeMatha.
I'm just glad I graduated high school. Are you kidding me?
Glad I made it out.
I was like, trust me, the school was glad I made it out too. But before his days at high school there, he was also, of course, an NFL player for a little while there. So I had a few years with the Washington Redskins there as a undrafted rookie free agent in Maryland as well. So, a guy that did have, a little bit of a career there, but not too much there. Just didn't even get out of training camp, basically, got in the IR, and then never heard from again at rookie year. So, but from everything I heard, he wasn't a bad player at Maryland, just kind of that fringe NFL kind of player there. And the injury just kind of zapped any chance he had of having an actual career. But this goes to what I always say. I don't want the guys with a massive NFL career to be a coach. People don't realize often the guys who make the best coaches are the guys who have the head to do it, not necessarily the physical abilities. They had to scrap their way through to get where they got.
Yeah, this is usually the best gifted people, the best talented people out there don't have to work as hard to get where they're at. Yep. So when you get the guy that had to scrap his whole career and really had to study the sport to understand how to get that much better, that's the guy that you want as your coach, because that's got to teach that guy that with all that talent how to be that much better.
I'll add something to that. Actually, I would say this to add to it. The guy that is the special athlete, it's hard for the special athlete to teach somebody else that special thing that he did.
Yep,
100%.
Because you can't really teach the special thing you did because you're the only one that can really do it. Exactly. So if you're like a guy that had to kind of work with the basics and things like that, that's why the guys that weren't the greatest NFL players are actually better coaches than the guys that actually were great players, because they had to know how to do things the basic ways. And I'll say that they can also realize the mistakes that they made really quickly, or that other people's mistakes, because they made so many mistakes themselves.
Yeah. That's a big part of it too.
I feel like Vrabel's the outlier, and I have to bring him up again on you there, but he was a decent player. Usually
he was.
Guys who were, the good coaches are the guys that weren't there, So it's just funny that it works out. I mean, I always tell people, look at, the greats from all the sports. Jordan sucked as an owner. Gretzky sucked as a coach. Like, it just doesn't usually work out.
You forgot Magic Johnson. He stunk as a coach too.
Yeah.
I forgot he was even for a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they called it the tragic hour when he was coaching.
You know what, he gets over it though, because he's a good owner. Because he owns part of the Dodgers, he owns part of the Commanders now. I mean, and obviously those teams have done better since he got there. So
he's been a great businessman.
Yeah, gives him a little bit of an out there, that's for sure. So, Jay's asking, what is your thoughts? We'll let you go. We'll let him go with this one here. What's your thoughts there, Mike, on Cam Ward? I'm going to actually give you a caveat to this. I want to hear your thoughts on Cam Ward, but I also want to hear what you think of Cam Ward versus Jackson Dart.
All right, I'm going to answer the second one first. Cam Ward versus Jackson Dart. I don't like the comparison, because I'm like, they're two different players. Jackson Dart's more of a guy that's going to wheel and deal and throw the ball, cost you the win. Cam Ward's not that guy. He wants to sit in the pocket, maneuver the pocket, manipulate the pocket, and make defenses pay that way more than run the football. So that's why I was like, the comparison there, I hear you, but they're two different style players. And also, Jackson Dart doesn't learn to slide, he's not going to have a long NFL career. So as far as just Cam Ward, I mean, beginning of the season, a little rocky, still trying to figure things out. But he finished the season with 4 straight games of multiple touchdown passes. Looked more comfortable in the pocket. Made some incredible plays. I mean, honestly, if he's rolling out this right or left, and he sees you open, he's going to find a way to get it to you. Essentially, he rolled out the best. Let me just throw it out this way. His first touchdown pass he makes, he's at the 20-yard line. He rolls back. He evades a defender. He's rolling out to the right. He's at the 24-yard line at this point. He's still by the line of scrimmage. He's almost out of bounds. Sees Alec Iomanner. He looks at him. He waves him to go the opposite way where he's going. Throws it from the 24-yard line to the opposite side of the field to the end zone, right on the money to Alec Iomanner for his first ever touchdown pass, which was an amazing throw that I think Allen ever saw. He makes some amazing throws. But the thing I would say is just cleaning up the footwork and being able to make the consistent, easy or the layups, basically. The layups, that's where I think he's probably going to, need some of the work at. He's always made the difficult plays, but he just didn't make all the easy plays at all times, which that's not that bad. I mean, he made some of them, but he didn't make all of them. But that goes with just being a rookie and still trying to, learn your way in the league, which I think that gets cleaned up this offseason. And I think you see Cam Ward have a type of year that Drake May had next year.
I can see that. With the right coaching. There was a lot of improvement. He definitely did not look comfortable when he played against the Jags week 1. He did not look comfortable when he played against the Saints, even though they scored more. But he started coming too. Like, he played Kansas City, and it wasn't the best.
Seattle. Did you see the Seattle game? The Seattle game, he was beating them with his legs a lot too.
Yeah, well, it's getting there. So the first 3 games, he won against the Chiefs, which is, granted, hindsight, like, that was a big upset in week 3. But you come to the second half of the year, later in the year, like, he started, like, feeling more comfortable. He was getting out of the pocket, like you said, rolling out, throwing the bombs deep, multiple touchdown passes. I think it was at least 2 touchdowns for the last 4 or 5 weeks of football.
That's 4 weeks.
And he wasn't getting one whatsoever, or here and there in the first 3 weeks. So, yeah, you may have lost, but you made a big step forward as a rookie, as Cam Ward. So that's what you want. That's what you want to see. Especially going to next year, hopefully with the better head coach.
Right. I definitely am interested in seeing I definitely think that the Salah pick to be the head coach is definitely going to be fun to watch because he is an energetic guy and he's doing more things his way, I think, that he wanted to do as opposed to the way he did in the New York for the Jets, where he wasn't calling the defense. This time he's actually going to call the defense here in Nashville. So that'll be interesting to watch. And he's a guy that's what he learned from being the New York Jets coach and now getting this next opportunity is he connected a lot with his defense when he was with the Jets. But, he learned that, hey, I might want to I got to connect more with the entire team. And that's the thing he worked on when he was with the 49ers, actually even meeting with George Kittle every week. Him and George Kittle would sit there and just chat in his office literally every single week, and other offensive guys as well.
Yeah.
So, I think Sal is a good hire for you guys. And I actually think he's a better coach than people realize. I think he got a kind of bum deal in New York because it's the Jets. Let's be honest. It's kind of like there's a couple of teams that you go, but it's the blank. Same as you talk about the Browns. You're like, it's the Browns. Like, it's the Jets. The one thing I'm curious with what's going to happen with you guys, and I'm kind of curious your opinion of him, Brian Daboll. There's all kinds of rumors that obviously our prior head coach is going to be your next offensive coordinator if he doesn't get the Bills job, which is still a possibility.
Or the Raiders job.
Yeah, the Raiders are going to be in the same category as the Jets and the Browns right now for me. Like, I don't care that Tom Brady's there. We just had the conversation about the greatest and how bad they are when they get to front office and coaching stops. I don't know why Brady gets the pass right now. It's the same thing. Stick to your freaking Fox telecast you stole from Greg Olson and let him do your thing there and move on because he look how bad that franchise is. But just curious your thoughts on Daboll if you guys get him though. I mean, it's an interesting guy because we talked about when we first got him before he got Josh Allen. He was horrendous as an offensive coordinator. Miami, Cleveland. Again, it's the Browns, but Cleveland, Kansas City. Even when he had a decent team around him, there just couldn't get things done. Jamal Charles. I mean, how do you have the worst offense in the league with Jamal Charles as your freaking backup? I mean, your running back. Like that's insanity.
Yeah, it's wild, but I think he's getting a lot of things thrown his way just because how he did and how he handled Josh Allen. I think that's one thing that you look at, and then also another thing that you look at is he was a big fan of Cam Ward. If he got his way, he would have had Cam Ward as opposed to Jackson Dart, but he didn't, and that's who he got. But I think it would be an interesting selection just based upon those different things. I think Cam Ward is a guy that takes hard and tough coaching. He likes that and welcomes that. He doesn't run from any type of coaching like that at all. So I think that Daboll would actually be a good fit for him. Another guy looking at too is Cliff Kingsbury. Titans have also been mentioned when it comes to him as well. That would be another guy that would be an interesting mesh point with Cam Ward. I mean, there's positives and negatives with both of those guys. I mean, the positives with Daboll is the work he did with Josh Allen. The negative is, hey, we saw him following his quarterback into the blue tent to try to get him out of there. That's a little interesting.
He's got a little
of course,
temper
Cliff Kingsbury.
Temper problem.
What's that?
He's got a little bit of a temper problem, just a little bit.
Oh yeah, that too.
So they say.
Like yelling at the team doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you see him just turning beet red when he's angry.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Hulk when the Hulk turns green, except for he turns red.
Hey, you know what's funny?
It's also cold in New York.
What's funny about him
That's
to give you kind of perspective, if you get him from Giants fans who saw him there for years, he was a complete jerk to all of his assistants, basically. Yet he was like a doormat for all the players. It was weird. Like he let the players get away with anything they wanted. Like you heard about Abdul Carter being, of course, benched, I'm sure, later on in the year by Kafka took over for Daboll the second half of the year. Well, they were saying that was a normal thing under Daboll and everything. But yet you see him like flipping out like nonstop at the coaches and stuff like that. It just weird. Our time with Daboll was very weird, that's for sure. But we give him respect because he called John Harbaugh and told John Harbaugh to come here. So I give him props because I don't think I could do that. You fire me, and 2 months later, I'm telling somebody else to go take the job. Honestly, that's a respect thing. I'll give him on that because I wouldn't be able to do that. I would not be able to. Like, no, you guys just fired me. Nope, you're on your own. You made this decision. You figure it out.
Like so cold.
Yep.
Texas Rattlesnake over here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they bring in as offensive coordinator. Either way it goes, whoever they bring in, you have buy-in from Cam Ward because he ultimately all Cam Ward wants to do is win. He doesn't care what it looks like. He just wants to win and be. Well, I won't say he doesn't care what it looks like. He does care what it looks like, but he wants to win. That's the biggest thing that Cam Ward wants to do. He doesn't want to go out here and throw for 4,000, 5,000 yards. If it requires him handing the football off 30 times, he will hand the football off 30 times. But he does like to be a gunslinger, and he's mentioned that more than a few times.
So
he's got the arm strength.
Question: Is Cam Ward injured? I got to ask, because why is Cam Ward not going to the Pro Bowl instead of freaking Shedeur Sanders of all people? Like, how is Shedeur Sanders even going? It's a total joke unto itself. But
well, you skipped over a guy, Trevor Lawrence. Is he even going to the Pro Bowl?
Well, he probably has an appointment with his hair salon that day. Is probably the problem.
Yeah, it's gonna get.
But he is an MVP finalist, so I can't really say much about him.
I'm just assuming
but,
that's what he's busy that day.
It just as far as Cam Ward, he did have in the last game versus the Jaguars, he did land on his shoulder, which he did exit that game in the first half and first quarter and never came back in the game. So he did. I think he had like a sprained AC joint or something of that nature. So I would suspect that they probably don't want him to play in that game because of that injury that happened, and want him to rehab and then try to prepare for the upcoming season as opposed to playing in basically a glorified flag football game.
Okay, yeah,
pretty much.
It's a fun game to go to though. If you ever get a chance, I went a couple of years ago. I had a lot of fun there. Watching on TV is the most boring thing known to man. Going there was fun. So, and I gotta say, I'm laughing in the inside right now because I'm seeing in their comments section all the Ravens fans that are coming here talking trash about John Harbaugh nonstop, about Jesse Minter being.
Well, I can understand them talking trash about John Harbaugh. I can understand because the thing is, John Harbaugh is a good coach, but he also does some things that make you scratch your head. And he also does, and he took the Ravens as far as they could possibly go with him, in my opinion. He also, honestly, he got lucky that he switched to Lamar Jackson when he did, because Lamar Jackson truly saved his job and gave him 6 or 7 more years of being the coach with the Baltimore Ravens, because they were set to fire that man.
Yeah, but even hypothetically, if they had fired him then, he still had 12 years with the team.
That's true.
And listen, like, again, Giants fans, I'll say it myself as a Giants fans, we do crazy stuff sometimes to people that don't deserve it. We talked about Eli before and stuff like that. But what it boils down to it is the guy gave you 18 years. There shouldn't be any, and a Super Bowl. There shouldn't be any negativity towards him whatsoever.
Well, there is when it comes to an expiration date. And that's, I think, the biggest thing there. They looked at it as, we've gone as far as we've gone with him, and it kept bringing him back. And they were like, at some point, you live long enough, you're the hero. At some point, you live long enough to be the villain, and that's exactly what happened to John Harbaugh.
I'll ask you this, Mike. Then,
mm-hmm.
Titans obviously had the job opening this year as well, and they also wanted Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have rather had, and you didn't get either one of these coaches, so you can answer it honestly. You don't have to give I'd rather have Robert Saleh. Like, you can give the actual answer here. Would you rather have Jesse Minter or John Harbaugh?
Well, that's a good question. Honestly, if I got to pick between those two, I know what John Harbaugh would bring to the organization. So, yeah, fresh start, I would say probably John Harbaugh. But the caveat with that is he probably is going to want more control. And that's a big thing when it comes to Amy Adams Strunk, as we just talked about with Mike Vrabel. Is she really going to do that or not? That's why I'd be like, I wouldn't think he'd end up here, because that would be the thing that would hang it all up.
We didn't think that the Maras were going to do it either. And they're giving him full, like, do what you want. I mean, literally, we had our head trainer who's been with us literally since before.
I saw that.
Before I was
5
born.
years.
I'm old. Like, this guy's in the late 70s. He was there before Parcells even. That's how far back he goes with this team. And he's gone.
Yeah, I saw. I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, man, John Harbaugh coming in cleaning house. He said, look here, I just don't like the way you looked at this, that, and the other. You got to go. And I only report to the head man. So he probably answers when he gets rid of people. He probably says, well, I only report to Mr. Morrow. So there you go. He probably says that at the end of every time.
He probably does, because that was the press conference. It's the right answer for him, though. It is the right answer. So, and I'm excited about Harbaugh, even if the Ravens fans in the chat think he's trash at that point.
Well, that relationship was just eventually had to be over. It just did, because they never could get over that hump. And I know some people want to blame Lamar and all those different things, but ultimately, you blame Lamar enough for everything that didn't happen or did happen. Ultimately, the head coach has to take the blame at some point. So,
well, what's interesting is that in the end, no one can be right or wrong right now. We play the next year, we see what happens. That's what I love about football. We can all think we know, but none of us know, because every single year stuff happens that we had no clue, what was going to go on. Like, that's just life.
Yeah, I mean, look at Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Had a great stint, and then was Kansas City Chiefs and has a better stint. Like, sometimes you're within an organization for so long, you got to part ways and go on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Like I was saying, you come in the hero. Sometimes you got to lead the villain.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. You live long enough, you'll be the villain.
And Deb put the comment here. I do want to put this up as well. She said, I heard it was not Harbaugh's decision to get rid of Abrams. I had heard of that as well. So, like I said, it's definitely, I think the Maras knew it was time for the Giants to make a change overall as well. I think before they even hired Harbaugh, they knew, like, we got to change, because we keep on keeping things status quo, changing just the GM or just the coach and expecting different. And that's the definition of insanity right there, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different decision. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, Mike, appreciate you coming on and talking some ball with us and talking about Wilson, our new defensive coordinator there. Before you get going, you mind giving the guys here where to get your information there again, where to get your content. I'm going to go ahead and put up your YouTube link here for everybody there again. But do me a favor, let everybody know.
And let us know your tour dates as well.
What's that?
So let us know your tour dates as well. When you
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't have any tour dates just yet. But I do have of course, where you can find me on social media if you want that information. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82. Instagram, that's THA and THE _general_MP. And of course, touring the AFC South. You can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. We're on the listening platforms, and like you mentioned, it will be on. It's actually on YouTube as well at the Mike Patton Network. 376 or 77 episodes of AFC South talk and more on there.
Here we go. Again, appreciate you, man, for coming on. Hopefully, all your network and power and all come back to normal here as soon as you guys get melted out from your ice and snow, man. Again, appreciate you coming on and give everybody the information there, Wilson.
Yes, sir. No problem. Y'all have a great night.
All right, appreciate it, man.
It was a pleasure, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All righty, guys. So we do got another coordinator to talk about as well. Obviously, the big one's going to be the defensive coordinator here. We do have a special teams coordinator to talk about as well. And again, before we go, we do want to thank Mike for coming on. I put the links there in the chat for everybody. I'll put the Spotify up again for everybody that likes the audio stuff there as well. Great guy, knows his stuff and beyond even the AFC South. So great guy to have on. Appreciate him. We're going to pay the bills real quick. And then after that, we're going to talk about Horton hearing a who. That's what we're going to go with.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. So, yeah, again, along with having a new defensive coordinator, we also have now a special team coordinator as well. Chris Horton, who quite frankly is, if not the best, one of the best special team coordinators in the entire league. Like, I get it. There's not necessarily an award for best special team coordinator of the year, but if you talk to people who know football, they will tell you this guy is one of the elite ones. And that's amazing after what we had this past few years, you know. How many times we had issues with coverage, return, kickers, hunters who don't know how to hit angles, all these things, you know. But like I said, this is not going to be an issue going forward, at least for the next couple of years. That's for the next couple of years. That's for sure. Here's the highlights of the special team for the Ravens last year. Jordan Stout, first off, was their punter, first team All-Pro. By the way, he's a free agent. We didn't even talk about him in our free agents that the Giants could steal from the Ravens because, quite frankly, we know no one gets excited about a punter. We're going to get excited for a second here. He's a free agent. 44.9 net average when he punted. That's led the NFL. 24 punts inside the 20. Only 6 touchbacks. I feel like we had 6 touchbacks a game from the Scottish Hammer.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, like he got better 2 years ago. I feel like last year he's kind of reverted back a little bit there, and he has that trouble with that angle. I don't know why, he just does, and he's got a powerful leg, that's for sure. But it's when you're punting, it's not about power. Remember Jeff Fiegels? How many years do we have Jeff Fiegels that was the punter for us? And he would go ahead and punt the ball. Like, it felt like sometimes 30 yards and that's it. But he did it so high and so well angled that he would just go ahead and pin the defense back like that.
Yeah, if you give it enough time in the air, like, people don't even think about that. Like, I'm glad you brought it up, Drew. It's when you kick the ball, it's not just about the distance, but like the height of the ball gives you a lot more time to get to the ball. So they have to call a fair catch, or they get tackled in the back for a loss.
Yeah.
Sometimes you kick that distance and you just do a straight fastball down the middle. Like, it gives them more time to run up for our team to get over there. So like, sometimes take 10 off and like pin him right where he's at, or the receiver, right where they're at.
Yeah. And then, of course, kicking wise, obviously they had the little Justin Tucker incident last year where everything came out up at the massage parlors and all that kind of stuff there. And now he's the Deshaun Watson at kicker. So they went ahead and got a new kicker, Tyler Loop, this year. And listen, he was 30 of 34 for field goals, 88.2%. I know everybody remember him for that missed one at the end of the year. Don't get me wrong. I get it. When you look back at this year, you remember him missing the one that would have sent him to the playoffs. But 30 of 34 is not bad at all. And he only missed one field goal under 50 yards all year. So, didn't necessarily have the boom leg that you want from a kicker, versus what we said there a minute ago with the punting situation. But, he's definitely a guy that wasn't exactly the worst kicker in the world, that's for sure, replacing a guy who was one of the best kickers altogether. 44 of 46 on extra points. So again, good on that. And it's funny, I already see Anthony saying we have Sauls. Listen, I'm not saying get rid of Sauls. I'm not. You notice I mentioned that Stat was a free agent. I didn't mention anything about Loop. I'm good with Sauls. Now, team average was 25.8 on kickoff returns and 12.4 on punt returns. All of that, by the way, the punt returns was by a wide receiver, LeJontay Wester, who is not a free agent, by the way, in case you're wondering. So the Ravens will be keeping him. But listen, we got plenty of people that can run kickbacks and stuff like that beyond Eric Gray.
Biggs.
Let me just go ahead and say that again here. Beyond Eric Gray, he needs to go. But like I said, very, very good. The only issue they had from a Ravens standpoint, I know we had some Ravens fans in here. Otherwise, before, they can feel free to correct me if they think I'm wrong. But the one issue I saw when I looked up the stuff with the special teams and watched some of the tape with them, the kickoff coverage team struggled big time this year, I felt like, from watching what I saw of them. They did miss some key players. Chris Board, who had signed with the Giants obviously last year, so he's going to be back with Horton and Harbaugh. Actually, ironically enough, he's not very active on Twitter X, but I went ahead and tagged him to see if he'd give any kind of response to the Horton signing, and he didn't. So, but listen, he's not good. He's not very active, and he doesn't know who we are, probably, to be honest. So, I don't try to say otherwise, but I would love to hear his thoughts on getting Horton and Harbaugh there. But they also lost Malik Harrison as well, who was a big special teams contributor for them as well. So yeah, if you lose two of your big coverage guys, guess what? Your coverage team might suffer. Call me crazy. So
just might.
Yeah, just maybe there. So, but yeah, he's, like I said, one of the elite ones, that's for sure. He was named the special team coordinator back in 2019. After being a longtime assistant to special team coordinator Jerry Rosberg. We talked to him the day. His daughter also was an assistant to Harbaugh and expected to come to the Giants as well. So that just tells you how well thought of Rosberg is by Harbaugh. So, he's been with the team literally since 2014, guys. It's a long time there. Prior to that, he was a quality control assistant for UCLA for a few years. He was actually a former New York Giant on top of that. So he had a brief career as a defensive back there with the NFL from 2008 to 2011 with the Washington Redskins, was a 7th round pick out of UCLA. Had 29 games, 122 tackles and 1 sack and a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries and 3 interceptions in his career. So not a big time player, but he was, one of the better defensive back rookies the year he came out. 2012, he was in camp with the Giants, didn't make it out of camp, and that was the end of his career. So he did have a few months as a New York Giant. But going back to his college days, he was actually first-team All-American back in 2007, along with being first-team All-Pac-10 as well. So, again, a guy who's stayed in one spot, though, guys, for a long time.
Consistency.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, it's been a long time for Harbaugh, obviously, in Baltimore as well, but that helps some of that. But you're talking about a guy who literally 2014 to 2025, that's 12 years of the 18 years that Harbaugh was there, that he was either his assistant special teams coach or his special teams coordinator. So
it's crazy.
The fact that Harbaugh had a chance to get out from underneath him and said, yeah, I want this guy again, that says a lot. And remember, guys, we talked about this before. We didn't know who it was, if it was the Giants or not, but initially we know that a team was denied the chance to interview him. And we assumed it was the Giants. And obviously they got around it for whatever reason, whatever way. I don't know if Horton went to the Ravens, said, I don't want to be here, or what the deal was. But they got it done. And this was a guy that the Ravens didn't want to let go. And that's the biggest sign that this is a good coach. The Ravens didn't seem to want to let him go. That many years in the building, and they still wanted him there. So I'm excited. I think that this is a slam dunk of hire as you can get. Absolutely a slam dunk of hire as you can get, guys. So, listen, I know it's not like defense. We can sit there and talk about it for 45 minutes. So, we don't have as much for that there. But like I said, I want to make sure you guys are aware, because it's a big hire. Gone are the days of the issues. I'm telling you right now, gone are the days of the issues we've been having on special teams. This is going to be a solid special teams front. There will not be those issues.
Thank goodness.
So, rest of the hires that we're hearing as well. Willie Taggart, we talked about him there, the former college head coach of a few different schools, and then obviously the last couple of years with the Ravens. He's on the coaching staff as well as the running backs coach. Listen, Derrick Henry, a little bit of a resurgence with the Ravens, right? I mean, that's fair to say. So,
yeah.
Maybe not the worst hire there. It is official that they are keeping Tim Kelly, the tight ends coach for the Giants the last few years, who also took over as the interim OC after Daboll was fired. He will go back to being the tight ends coach. Offensive line coach. Listen, I know we all want Priscilla back. There was one report by Paul Schwartz that Priscilla was not coming back. Right around the same time, I saw Jordan Ronan say that they plan on having further conversations, and nothing was definite either way. Everybody and their mother is running with what Paul Schwartz said, that, Priscilla is not coming back. I have not heard the Giants say it. I have not heard Priscilla say it. So I don't know if this is a case of one guy heard something and everybody else is running with it, or if it's a set thing that Priscilla is not coming back. Most people are saying it's a set thing. I won't say it because I've only heard one guy actually say, I have a source that tells me this. Everybody else is just following what he said.
I think so.
Yeah. And again, I'm not dissing Paul Schwartz when I say that. He's a good reporter for the Giants. But we all get information that's wrong sometimes. So it looks like it, based on the reports, that Carmen Priscilla will not be coming back. But we don't know for sure until we get told for sure, basically. I'll put it that way. Should be interesting, because I'm curious how that affects Jermaine Illuminor and his free agency. Illuminor went with him literally from New England to Las Vegas, now to the Giants. He's a free agent again, so that could be an issue. But listen, in Harbaugh, we trust. We wanted him. We got him. Now we have to give him the chance to do what he wants to do, and then just hope he's making the right moves.
Yeah. We also had a very bad offensive line for a very long time.
Yes.
That we finally had a guy that was competent and able to do the job. So look at what the Ravens had for the past 2 decades. A pretty good offensive line. It wasn't really a big issue.
Until the last couple of years, if we're being honest, the last couple of years hasn't been the best.
Were they
There's
Giants?
a lot of injuries and stuff too.
Oh, injuries, but did they play like the Giants in offensive line?
No, nobody
still-
plays as bad as the Giants though.
Still serviceable.
We had nowhere to go but
So-
up. But now we actually had a good year, so people are scared. I get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So-
Like you can be scared, but I'll trust Harbaugh.
Yeah. Seeing Robert there saying, "Oh, I'm not be back." Reported on Giants Wire and Big Blue View. Again, though, those are guys that are just repeating Paul Schwartz's thing from everything I saw. So, like I said, I don't want to say for sure until I hear from other sources, because everybody else has been kind of, like I said, just kind of doing that. I don't like to. I like to go off that 100% there until I hear otherwise. But again, not expected. So I'm actually looking real quick to verify. Yeah, so I'm at the Giants Wire one, and that's exactly what they said. They're just verbatim putting there exactly what Paul Schwartz put, including the picture of his tweet or X, whatever. I don't know what they call it. He's still called a tweet. So like I said, until I see other people doing it and everybody else regurgitating it, I don't want to say that's what's going on. Partially because, very frank, I don't want it. I want him back. But I'm gonna trust Harbaugh. I'm gonna give Harbaugh the benefit of the doubt. If he makes the move, I'm gonna trust it. And hopefully that trust is not, shattered into pieces.
Yeah,
Don't hurt me.
we've been hurt, John. We've been hurt before.
I have.
If you're listening, please
Uh,
take this. Don't take this lightly here. Giants fans, we need a good offensive line.
and it's funny. I see Jay talking about the Linderbaum rumors are dumb too. And he says Linderbaum can stay over in Baltimore. JMS cheaper and possibly a better player. Listen, here's the thing though, is that first off, JMS is not a better player than Linderbaum. Let me get that clear. But Linderbaum is a specific skill set. He needs a specific coaching. And if the Giants hypothetically are trying to bring him on, I could see where they would say, you know what, I want a guy who can play to his skill set. Maybe that's not Priscilla. Maybe Priscilla met with John, didn't like him. I don't know. Unfortunately, we're not in the room for that stuff there. But I do wonder if the Linderbaum is part of it, because Linderbaum is a smaller center. He's a very mobile center. He's a different center than what most people have. I don't know. And maybe Todd Monken and him talked and just didn't work out. The two of them don't think they fit philosophically, like it's very possible. Nothing wrong with that. And sometimes it's not a fit, so we'll have to find out again as things go on. Dennis Johnson is coming to the Giants as a defensive line coach, replacing Andre Patterson. He's coming over from the Ravens as well. Charlie Bullen is said to be staying on as the outside linebackers coach. Again, obviously from the previous staff, was our defensive coordinator for the last few games. He's been in talks for a couple of coordinator jobs. So we'll see as more and more head coaches get hired. If he gets, plucked from us, that's a possibility still as well. Matt Zenith of CBS Sports was the first report that I saw, and I've seen a couple guys picking up afterwards. Assistant linebackers coach Matt Pease, running back quality control coach Adam Schrack, and defensive backs quality control coach Brendan Clark, along with analyst Noah Riley, are all coming also to the Giants from the Ravens as well. So we are, as expected, plucking a lot of Ravens over to the Giants there. And again, you got to kind of expect that. Those are Harbaugh people. They're going to go where Harbaugh goes. That's every time you get a major coaching staff change like that, and you get a guy who's been experienced, been someplace for a long time, that's what happens.
Yeah.
He has his guys. He's been around long enough to have his guys. And he's going to get his guys. Again, this was part of the potential delay in getting Harbaugh, is because they wanted to go ahead and Harbaugh wanted to make sure he can go ahead and get his guys. They heard that many times, that he wanted to make sure he had enough money to go get the coaches he wanted. So expect more Ravens. Again, Todd Monken, I expect him to be announced as the offensive coordinator whenever the Browns figure out what the hell they're doing. Though everything I'm hearing right now is going to be between Steelhouse, the assistant coach for the Rams, and Jim Schwartz, who has been their defensive coordinator for the last couple of years. Personally, I wouldn't be too shocked if they go ahead and give the kid a chance and have Jim Schwartz be the most overpaid defensive coordinator ever, basically pay him like a head coach, just to let one guy deal with the offense, one guy deal with the defense, and call it a day. Kind of like the Giants did with Wink in the beginning. Wink ran the defense. That was his defense. Daboll just said, okay, that sounds good.
Do what you got to do.
So we'll see. I do think he's coming. Give it a couple of days, I think, and that's probably what will happen from there. But we'll have to, wait and see what happens there. Again, you never know. But that's definitely what it seems like. But we'll keep you guys up to date, obviously, and everything going on as we get more and more news. We will be back, of course, Wednesday for you. Now, Wednesday, as of right now, the plan is to have a show on Wednesday where we give you guys a conversation about Giants who are going to be free agents in the offseason, what to do with them, who to keep, who not to keep. But, of course, we'll, might change that based on whatever we do in the next couple of days with the coaching staff and all that kind of fun stuff there. Listen, that's life right now. We never know what's going to happen. Kind of fun. Yeah. It's all positive things for once. It's very rare as a Giants fan. Positivity.
Things are looking on up.
I know.
To the east side.
That's moving on up. It's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys. Yeah, I'm already seeing everybody with the go Seahawks. Yeah, I think it's safe to say most of the country's going to be rooting for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl this year. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Patriots definitely the easiest road to the Super Bowl ever. But imagine that you play literally the easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. Then you go and play against the quarterback that's literally nursing a broken bone. Then you go ahead and go against a backup quarterback because somehow the other team's quarterback hurt himself in the very last play of the previous game. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Insanity. So, listen, the Seahawks are due. The Seahawks are due for Super Bowl. I won't carry the way he wins. I just want a good game. That's all I want.
You also got to look at, too, that defense have stepped up big time for
I'm wearing the shirt.
Pats.
I just hope both teams have fun. I'm going to wear that on Sunday probably, too.
Yeah. Well, next Sunday.
Next Sunday, yes. I forget the Super Bowl schedule. We haven't been in one so long.
It's been a while.
But yeah, guys.
And as AC comes in there saying Sam Darnold and Super Bowl, it doesn't sound right in my head. You're right.
It doesn't.
And it's weird too because Brock Purdy also told him after they beat him in the wild card weekend, you're going to win it all. Let's see if Brock Purdy's right.
Yeah,
we'll see. Super Bowl predictions.
We'll see. And we've been so busy with the Harbaugh stuff. You and I really haven't done our playoff picks like we usually do at that point. So
no, I think because you want to protect that little bit of the lead you had. Now I can't come back for one game.
You know better. It's not a little lead.
I was stopped.
Anyway,
it's a little lead.
I would have won anyway. You can see
it would have took 1 week to come back. You stopped me.
1 full week of me not getting a single pick right, but okay.
Oh, stop.
Anyway, guys, we're going to see you guys on Wednesday. As always, we are live on YouTube, of course, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, and, of course, everybody's favorite, not just Rob's, but everybody's favorite.
Choose again, Rob.
My LinkedIn profile. And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms for your riding to work on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. So, again, appreciate you guys for supporting us here for all these episodes here. Listen, we're about to hit episode 600 already. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
That's
600.
That's insane. 600 episodes coming up soon. Actually, I just realized that I'm looking it up to see how many more we had to go. Apparently Thursday was our 600th episode. This is episode 601. So anyway, guys. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Whoops, that's what we get for not paying attention like that too much. Listen, when you get up this high, you don't really count that. We'll celebrate 750 probably. That'll be the next one we celebrate.
Yeah, so that's next milestone.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be a couple months away. So appreciate you guys for listening, supporting, watching the show. As always, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.